So, the Book of Boba Fett, episode 7 finale is over. Um, it seemed like it went by really quick. It really truly did. Um, and I'm not saying that because it went by quick because it was incredibly great. It wasn't. There was two good episodes in all of this season. Everything else I thought sucked, including the finale. I thought the finale felt like one of those it felt like one of those series that you see on just like primetime television where the good guys are trapped and then you know they're going to escape. No one's going to be hurt. Everybody's going to make it out alive because at the last second, somebody's going to come in and save the day. Well, that's exactly what happened on this one. And it didn't just happen once, it didn't just happen twice, it didn't just happen three times. It happened about four or five times throughout this whole episode. There was a number of things that bothered me with it. One, I'll just start off, and this is a small pet peeve, but it's like Boba Fett. He's got this, this palace, and this place where he can defend himself, from attack. And he's like, "Well, we're gonna go back. When the Pikes come for me, we're gonna go back there and we're gonna defend ourselves until the townspeople or whoever his allies are come and save the day." Well, what happens? The Vespa Power Ranger girl that is supposed to be, I guess, his subordinate, goes and says, "No, no, no, we're fighting here in this blown up cantina." Okay, well, I thought Boba Fett was in charge, and he's like, "Fine, we'll die here," which made no sense whatsoever. Uh, it was just like it was like we're going to protect the townspeople by actually putting the townspeople in danger, which was crazy. If he would have gone and fought in his fortress, that town wouldn't have probably been destroyed. The Pikes would have gone into the fortress, and that would have been that, one way or the other. But no, he's like, you know what? We're going to go fight in this blown up cantina, immediately get overrun. And then Din Djarin and Boba Fett, instead of coming up with this grand plan, are just going to go all Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid on them and just going to go out guns blazing. Just the two of them. Made no sense. Literally made no sense. Um, when the townspeople finally do come to actually assist them, um, they just run off. He's like, run, and those things keep chasing after him. And I didn't really understand why those things chased after the townspeople. Why didn't they? Why didn't they go after Boba Fett and Din Djarin? Those were the two main ones that they were there to kill. Whether those others lived or died was of no consequence whatsoever. No consequence. And you could say, well, Fennec Shan, she has some cool scenes in it. Um, what was the point of her being sent to kill the Pike leader and stop everything when that didn't happen until everything was taken care of? I mean, wouldn't she have been better off being there and fighting? Wouldn't she have been more helpful in that situation? You would think so. But no, they completely sent her off where it was just the two Mandalorians fighting side by side on their jetpacks, flying in the air while random Pike soldiers tried to shoot them, which made no sense to me because at the end of the day, they should have been just ducks being shot out of the sky, so many Pike soldiers, and it just kind of felt like it's the same people coming in and out. There was nothing different about it. They're like, oh, well, we're just going to overwhelm them with overwhelming forces, but we're only going to send like 10 at a time so that you can kill those 10, and then we'll bring in another 10. Felt crazy to me. If you're actually going to do this where you've got an overwhelming force, let me see computer animated legions go into the town. That would have been really cool to see. But no, we just get to see like 10 at a time, and it felt like the same 10 every single time. Now, as far as the episode goes, there was some good parts. I enjoyed the Rancor. That was pretty cool. Getting to see Boba Fett ride him was really cool. Um, to a certain extent, Cad Bane being in the episode, that was really interesting. I did not understand Cad Bane in this episode. Cad Bane is a mercenary, and so when Cad Bane saw that the Pikes were losing, why did Cad Bane decide to be like, okay, I am going to risk my life at this point? All because he wanted to get back at Boba Fett. And that made no sense to me. That's not what a mercenary does. A mercenary, when they see that the tides have turned, they leave. He wasn't going to die for the Pikes, or at least he shouldn't have wanted to die for the Pikes. That doesn't sound like Cad Bane. So that made no sense to me. I thought the fight between Cad Bane and Boba Fett really showed just how bad Boba Fett really is. And I'm not meaning that in a good way. I'm meaning he is just an old man. Just an old man. I thought it was kind of funny. He's like, well, I'm not a boy anymore. No, you're like a 60 something year old man. And then he was out there telling Cad Bane, well, you're old now. Well, so are you, and except Cad Bane can still, I don't know, fight good. Unlike Boba Fett, which yes, we got to see a little bit of his moves and things like that, but I thought it was all lame. I hated the Cad Bane Boba Fett fight. It felt like Cad Bane was attacking a senior citizen at this point. It just wasn't. It just didn't look good. Then at the end of the day, they supposedly killed Cad Bane, and I think we all know that he's not really dead. They'll find some way to bring him back. But yeah, I mean, overall, when it come to uh, somebody always saving them at the very last minute. A lot of this kind of felt like stock footage too. Like I said, with the Pikes just coming in 10 at a time, it felt like the same ones coming in. Din Djarin running away from the Scorpion droids felt like stock footage because I don't know how many times it seemed like he ran and the same things that he was running by. It made no sense to me. It was what he was planning on accomplishing. Um, and then, of course, like I said, the return of Grogu. We didn't even get to see even a fraction of the Mandalorian, a fraction of an episode of the Mandalorian season 3 without Grogu. That just tells me a lot about what Disney thinks of the Mandalorian. They think they cannot have this show without Grogu in it. They think no one will watch this show without Din Djarin with Grogu. That worries me for season 3. Truly does. I would have loved to have seen um, Grogu grow as a Jedi. Instead, he chooses a bounty hunter life. And you know what? I've heard other people bring this up, and I kind of think it's kind of crazy too. Um, Grogu's 50. Like, he's 50 years old. He's probably as old as Boba Fett, if not older, baby. Um, and the fact that he's still such a little baby is kind of, I don't know, it seems like once the cuteness kind of wore off and you really start thinking from a logical standpoint when it comes to the race that Yoda is and Grogu is, you think, how could they have ever have survived if it takes about 100 years from them to get out of the baby state? Like, that makes no sense. Like, the very first one would have, how did it survive? Sitting around eating frogs all day? Like, you're telling me nothing was going to kill it and eat it? Like, that just made no sense to me. And I felt like we saw that a lot. He looked like a straight up Muppet in this, where he's just trying to go around and trying to use the Force to, take down the droids. He's trying to use the Force to take down the Rancor, put the Rancor to sleep. I'm like, cuteness has worn off. I don't need to see Grogu anymore, to be honest with you. But I know I will get a heavy, heavy, heavy dose of it in The Mandalorian season 3. Which I'll admit, this season, the 2 episodes before that had got me really psyched for The Mandalorian season 3. This last episode made me less excited about The Mandalorian season 3. And it made me less excited about the Book of Boba Fett going forward, if they are going to go forward with the season 2, because I'm like, yes, the 3, I mean, even this episode was better than the first, what, 4 episodes of this show, but that's not saying much because it was well below what the last 2 episodes of this show was. And those episodes were only good because it didn't have Boba Fett hardly in them. I mean, for an episode and a half of this show, we didn't even see Boba Fett. And that was the best parts of this show. So moving forward, I don't know. I don't know how interested I'm going to be in the Book of Boba Fett. Hey, 7 episode run. I say end it here. Don't go any further. Um, we got to see Din Djarin with Boba Fett. We got to see those two fighting together. We got to see Boba Fett riding a Rancor. But we never really, in all 7 episodes, got to see Boba Fett be Boba Fett. And he seemed well past his prime. I don't think they're going to be able to change that in the show. He's just too old. He's just too old. Phoenix Shan steals his thunder every single time. And he doesn't even seem like a very good crime lord. Like, he's weak. He allows his subordinates to tell him what to do and to dictate, even where he makes his own last stand. I mean, come on. Who does that? Like, can you imagine the Kingpin or any of these other, or even in Star Wars, the Huts, ever being like, "Hey, you over there, one of the slaves or something over there," being like, "Hey, where should I make my last stand?" No, they wouldn't care. That's what crime lords do. They just don't care what the subordinates think. Subordinates work for them, not the other way around. It felt like the other way around in this show throughout. And that was my biggest problem with episode 7, was how he never asserts himself. He really truly never does. There wasn't enough at the end with the Cad Bane fight for me to say that that was worthy of anything. There wasn't enough backstory between it. I know they do have backstory when Boba Fett was a child, but at the same time, it just wasn't enough for me to care about it. I give this episode probably about a 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10. Very disappointing way to end the season. Um, it's got some cool moments. Don't get me wrong; it's got some cool moments. Um, you can't go wrong with the Rancor, and you can't go wrong with Cad Bane. But I just didn't like the idea of everybody being overwhelmed and then somehow managing to escape unharmed in a lot of ways. I guess the 2 pigs died, but that's it. I mean, a bunch of nobodies. But as far as the main cast, they all survived. All survived. Wouldn't be shocked if Cad Bane makes it back. Probably in the first part of the Mandalorian or something, or Ahsoka Tano series, or Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Would not be shocked. We will see Cad Bane again. I assure you of that. Anyways, guys, let me know what y'all think down below. What did you think of the finale? Did you think that it lived up to the last 2 episodes? Do you thought it was a great cap on the season? Are you a little bit disappointed, kind of like I am? Like, I kind of felt like it definitely didn't have the season 2 finale. It was nothing compared to that. I think that the Mandalorian season 2 ended amazing. Um, this left me less interested in the show than I was an episode before, which isn't a good thing because I'm back at episode one again, where it just absolutely sucked. That's the way I'm feeling towards this show right now. Anyways, guys, let me know what y'all think down below. And as always, y'all can catch me on Rumble and you can also catch me on Minds. So if you like our content here on Rants, please subscribe here on YouTube, Rumble, and on Minds as well. Thank you so much. And as always, y'all take care.